Hey everyone, James Reeves, TFBTV at 511's 100th store in Oxnard, California with my good buddy, Jeremy Stafford. Jeremy, well known for his excellent material.
I don't know about well known.
Yeah, or excellent. I know I made both of that up.
Both of them.
Guns and ammo. And what I have a lot of respect, truly. You know,
Thanks,
we
brother.
joke around, but I have a lot of respect for you, not only for the work that you do in the gun community, but the fact that you have been street level LAPD for 25 years.
25 years.
I had to get you on camera and ask you about what your EDC is, because I think that would be very helpful. I mean, you are the guy. You're an LAPD street level officer for 25 years. You know what EDC is. You know what's worked for you, what hasn't worked for you. I'd like for you to share that with the viewers. So let's do a pocket dump. We can start however you want to start. We can go from Tic Tacs to gun or gun to Tic Tacs, however you want to do it.
So, well,
Trojan Magnums.
well-
Yeah.
you know what though? We'll start with something that a lot of people talk about, but very few people actually carry, and that's some emergency medical. So I'm never without that.
Okay.
My tourniquet.
Basic tourniquet.
Basic tourniquet. You know, there's some people that talk about carrying like a full IFAK.
Yes, I was just about to ask.
If I have my backpack with me, I have an IFAK. But I live in Southern California. A lot of times the weather is not going to be conducive to carrying a ton of stuff. So I have to be selective with what I carry. So when it comes to med gear, I always have at least a tourniquet and, you know, shameless 511 pitch here, but because they have the yoke pockets on all of the pants that they do, the Defender Flex jeans, the shorts that I'm wearing right now, I can put this in one of those yoke pockets so it's kind of up out of the way and it's not banging around in a regular pocket and nobody sees it.
Right.
And I can get to it if I need to.
Right, and that's the other thing, is a lot of what we're talking about with EDC, it's a compromise. Like,
Yeah.
you aren't, everybody would like to have an IFAK and an AK-47, you know, or at least a Krinkov, you know, whatever, like a full loadout, but you just can't do it if you're trying to, it's everyday carry, ED.
It is, and it is a compromise. With your firearm, it's compromise. It's compromise between portability and shootability.
And what do you
know?
carry? Let's roll right into it.
Well,
That's a
we'll go
perfect
right into
segue.
gun.
Yeah.
So right here, I have my SIG 365 XL with an optic, and I am using the really wonderful QVO holster, friend of ours.
Yeah, Roger, great guy.
Great guy, great holsters. This one works for me. I've used a lot of other holsters that are really good too, but because, and I'm gonna take this out now, I'm gonna keep it pointed in a safe direction. Because I'm running kind of an oddball light on it, that Surefire XSC, Raj was the guy. I called him and I said, hey, can you do this for me? And he had it to me like in 3 days.
Yeah.
So it's been fantastic. Can't recommend him enough. And you can see that I run a dot and a light because there's no reason not to. You know, it's an EDC and it does entail compromises, but if I know I'm going into a fight, I want 2 hands on the gun.
Right.
And that means that if it's a low light fight, I want that light on. So I like a weapon mounted light. Is it something that I absolutely have to have? No, but it's just something that I want. Same thing with a dot. I've gone wholesale into dots. Every fighting gun I own has a dot. And I found that especially with these little guns, the dots make me effective out to 100 yards, which sometimes is problematic with short sight radiuses. You know, so body type, that's a big deal. Environment, that's a big deal. You know what? You're very narrow waisted. God bless you. You can carry a full-size gun on your strong side hip under a t-shirt. I can't do it. Not only that, but because of my body shape, not that I have like these huge love handles or anything, but I'm very blocky and it pushes the gun.
Dope deal from me to you. You don't know it, shit's about to go south. I'm about to like put hands on you, grab you, stab you, something like that. Where do you want your gun in that condition?
I want my gun, if I'm anticipating a fight, if I'm anticipating that I'm gonna have to get really close and personal, I'm gonna carry my gun appendix 9 out of 10 times. You know, and then that exception would be if it was very, very cold and I was wearing big clunky clothing. But the vast majority of the time, I'm gonna wear an appendix because I can fight from here. I layer my options from here. I have my gun, I have my other tools. Next item, all right, well, folding knife. Gotta have a folding knife. Now look, is this something that I look at as like an EDC to where I'm going to be using it to defend my life. No, not necessarily. I open a lot more boxes with it than I open up bad guys with it, but it's comforting to have, and it's light, and it doesn't take up any space.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what? Every man should be carrying a knife. If you're not, go get one.
Which one are you carrying?
This one right here is little Benchmade. I'm not sure.
I love their stuff.
Yeah, light, flat, and fast, and I don't have to worry about the thing breaking.
Yeah, so true story, one time I took a like a 5.56 or a 5.55, like the mini Griptilian, and you know, I was taking it, this is a great what not to do, taking it and stabbing Corona tops and then prying the top off. You know, of course, I had a few beers. You know, somebody should have taken the thing away from me.
How bad did you cut yourself?
Yeah, pretty bad. No, so blood all over the place. No, it really wasn't that bad. But what I did do is I dropped the tip. Like, you know, I broke. And so I called Benchmade. I'm like, all right, do I lie to these guys? I'm like, look, you know, I took the tip off because like I was opening beer bottles with it by stabbing them, and they're like, dude, just send it in. No, swear to God, send it in, and they sent it right back. Like it was like they have a lifetime dumbass warranty apparently. So I am a huge fan. I was like, that's cool. Like Stafford carries a Benchmade.
And I was actually talking to Jeff, the photography guy. He has like 3 or 4 of the same model, and he just sends them in to get resharpened and then puts the next one in. So
yeah, and they're great for EDC. That's actually brilliant because you could do that little the $5 sharpen job that they do, and just rotate them. But yeah, they're great because they're flat, they're out of the way. You may as well carry it because you can carry it with just about anything. That's exactly how I feel. You've got a weapon-mounted light. Do you also have like a standalone flashlight? I already know the answer to this because we're stiletto bros.
We are stiletto bros.
Like, I love the Surefire stiletto.
So I try not to, you know, being in the industry, you never want to alienate other people. And I have wonderful relationships with, you know, Streamlight, wonderful relationships with a bunch of companies that make a bunch of great gear. But I got to tell you, for an EDC flashlight,
doesn't get better.
I haven't found anything better that carries easier, provides 1,000 lumens on tap, and people, well, what about the throw? What about this? What about? Dude, shut up. Shut up. It's 1,000 lumens in my pocket, and I can carry it, and it doesn't.
It's bright. It's got 3 settings. Like it's good stuff, and we love the guys at Surefire. That the first time they showed that to me, I was like, that has to be like the dumbest thing that I've ever seen. Like it was so weird. And then I use it constantly. I've got it in my backpack right now. So you know, it's one of my favorite things. How useful is a light for you, being a street level cop? Like, do you use it all the time?
I carry 3 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I carry
that
3.
big of a deal.
Yeah. So I have one on the gun, then I have the primary one on my belt that I carry.
I mean, are you using that if you're working a night shift? Like, are you using that every night?
Every night, especially because this one has the admin light settings.
Yeah, which is great. You can just read.
So this one's programmed so it goes bright first. The one that I carry at work in my little sap pocket, which is where we used to carry saps, which is where when guys like James would get mouthy, we'd pull it out. And can't do that anymore. But I keep that one on low, and I actually use that one as my admin light, and I'll just turn it on.
Yeah, sure. And you've got a lot of practice with that,
Yeah.
So you know, it's got the that little primary button in the back. I guess you can give them a little flash at the, you know, show them the right there. Does that really work whenever, like, if you want to get somebody, bring them down a little bit, you know, zap them in the face with that? Does that?
Yes.
That actually does work.
Yes. So white light can work as a de-escalator, 100%. It can also have the opposite effect if the person maybe isn't in their right mind, like you're dealing with an emotionally disturbed person or somebody who's been abusing narcotics. Sometimes it can get them spun up, but oftentimes it'll disorient people enough to where you can kind of gain a tactical edge.
Sure.
De-escalate it.
Right, they can't see you, and then like you're already kind of establishing a little bit of dominance right there out of the gate.
Yeah, and I know that's not politically correct to say anymore, but you know, when I'm communicating with the younger police officers, I just talk about using command presence and gaining a tactical edge. You know, but it's the same thing. It is because my instructors would have said you establish dominance, and most of the time that works, and you are already one ahead, which
deters them from kind of,
because now they're trying to play catch up to you.
Right, sure.
Which is important. These are the big ones. And then remember how I said how this knife usually gets used like a utility or something like that?
Yeah.
But I'm a firm believer that you have to have layers, not only on your uniform stuff, but in your EDC. So my last layer, I carry a fixed blade knife too.
Yeah, sure.
And
AMTAC.
this is the APPAREL Northman. The reason I carry a fixed blade knife is actually in case I go to the ground and I'm in a fight over my weapon. This thing will never see the light of day unless I'm in a fight for this. Because if I'm on the ground, and I always have my knife set up so they can go either hand, but this one, because of the way that it's angled, I have set very specifically so that when I use it with my left hand, I can use it to defend. I can clinch if I have to, and I can get the person off so that I can go to that.
It's funny, we have like the exact same taste. I mean, you know, a couple good looking dudes like us, of course, you know, it stands to reason.
Tight
that,
sleeves.
Yeah, that's right.
Square jaws.
I know, right? Look at us, and we've got, you know, I really like Roger, QVO. I mean, I use a ton of holsters, I know you do too.
Sure.
365 XL is great. I use a Benchmade knife. I use a Surefire. I have the effing Northman. Do we have anything else in there, or is there,
well,
you know, you got a pack of gum, or you got...
Got my beat up old phone.
Yeah, sure, that's important to have, of course.
With
Look at that. Yeah, I got a picture of the fam.
Picture of the family. And then other than that, just wallet and keys, man. But this right here will solve 99% of your problems.
Is there ever a situation you've been in where you're like, man, this is the one time I didn't bring this, or man, I wish I would have had that instead? Like, I don't know, pepper spray or something. Or is this your gear and you've never found yourself lacking?
I've personally never found myself lacking when I have everything. Where I have caught myself slipping before is I'll get behind and I'll leave something somewhere. And you know, it's funny that as gun guys, we make sure we always grab this, right? But I swear to goodness, man, sometimes I've left the house and I've forgotten some of the other things, the light or the pocket knife, and I need the damn pocket knife.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, and if it's something as simple as opening up, you know, the stupid packages where they have the zip ties, where you have to get in there. Thank goodness I've never needed the tourniquet and not had it. I have been in a couple of scenes where having it, I was able to use it and I was able to help save people. But I haven't been to one yet where, oh God, I wish I had my tourniquet.
This is a lot of validation for me as somebody who's a minimalist. You and I dress similarly, and to see and to hear that with your 2.5 decades of experience for Los effing Angeles and the LAPD, that you're like, dude, this kid is good. You don't need more than this. And you're good to go.
I wish I could get everybody to just
do this. Yeah.
Just carry this.
Let's finish this out. You've got to have, I know, a bunch of good like undercover stories, whatever, from like your work. If there's any you can share with us. I understand that this is sensitive, but hit me with a good one.
I have a funny one. So it was when I first went to Vice, and I had been off the streets for a little while. I had gone to Firearms. I was the department subject matter expert, so I was doing a lot of administrative stuff, a lot of writing, a lot of policy stuff. And then when my kids got a little older, I said, you know what? I want to go back to the streets. My first night working a prostitution task force, where we were doing in-calls. We were bringing them into the hotel. 9 times out of 10, if you see a prostitute, she is a victim of human trafficking, period. But every once in a while, you get the entrepreneur. This girl comes in, and one of the guys I was working with, and I'm not going to mention his name, when you get the violation, which is the agreement for sex and money, then there's usually a signal, everybody comes in, we do the takedown, and it's handled. He forgot to block the door. So he gives the signal, we come in, boom, she's gone. She's out the door. And I'm like, I've never lost a foot pursuit in my life. And I'm going. You're
gonna tackle this hooker.
I'm gonna tackle this prostitute, and I'm going, and she's starting to pull away. And I'm like, this can't happen. So I turn it on, I run her down. Thank God there was a little wall. Didn't lose the foot pursuit. If there wasn't that wall, it might have been a different story. But anyways, the funny part is,
She was probably in her
snatch her up.
heels and everything.
No,
right?
she was barefoot. She was barefoot. So snatch her up, get her back. She was a track runner at USC.
Holy shit.
And I got her. I mean, she was a couple years removed. She was probably in her late 20s.
Yeah. Well, not in her prime, necessarily.
prime,
She's been in a new line of business.
But man, I felt good. And the funny thing is, like I said, every once in a while you get the entrepreneur. And so I'm interviewing her, and she's being really forthcoming. She was a CPA
Okay.
with a degree from SC,
Okay.
and she was doing this to make money on the side.
Well, I mean,
I
look,
was like,
dude, I'm not mad at it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna make any
was
political
like-
statements on TFBTV, but I'm just saying, like, if that's your gig, you're doing it voluntarily.
but I caught a track star.
Yeah.
I was pretty proud of
And,
myself.
you know,
For
we-
almost 50 years old,
And
come
we
on
can
now.
we can circle it all back to this minimalist EDC. If you had a bunch of unnecessary shit in your pockets,
right.
you'd be
I would not be
jangling
as light
around.
on my
yeah,
feet.
yeah, exactly. Jeremy, it's always a pleasure
James, thanks for
having
having
you
me,
on
brother.
TFBTV. We have to say thank you, of course, to 511 for letting us. Like, everybody's outside. They've got the grand opening. They're ready to come in.
Eric keeps looking through the window.
Peruse, yeah, and they see we're still filming. Maybe we should we'll sit here, just shoot the shit for a few minutes on camera, keep them all away.
Before we do go, I want to give the 511 pants a serious plug though, because
Oh, sure.
the way that they're built, I can carry this stuff and it's not pulling my pants down. It doesn't look obvious.
Make sure you come to Oxnard, California, check out the new store.
Eat the
but in the
strawberries.
meantime, check out the strawberries. Enjoy the rest of TFBTV's coverage from California. We're on target. We're on target. Oh my God, this is hilarious. Oh my God!